Coming up on 5 Minute News. Minneapolis police chief testifies Chauvin violated policy in George Floyd arrest. COVID-19 cases rise for third straight week in US. And climate change shrinks marine life richness near equator. It's Tuesday, April 6. I'm Anthony Davis. Derek Chauvin broke Minneapolis Police Department rules and its ethics code governing the sanctity of life in his deadly arrest of George Floyd last May, the city's police chief testified at the former officer's murder trial on Monday. It's not part of our training, and it's certainly not part of our ethics and our values, Chief Medaria Arredondo told the jury as prosecutors sought to undermine a central plank of Chauvin's defense. Arredondo said he was alarmed when, a few hours after the arrest, he first saw a bystander's video showing Chauvin, who is white, kneeling on the neck of Floyd, a 46-year-old handcuffed black man, for more than 9 minutes. The video sparked global protests against police brutality. Chauvin has pleaded not guilty to murder and manslaughter charges. Prosecutors have called Arredondo and other police officers to weaken Chauvin's defense that he did only what he was trained to do in his 19 years as a police officer. Arredondo, who in 2017 became the first black person to lead the city's police force, fired Chauvin and 3 other officers who were involved the day after Floyd's death. He also castigated Chauvin in a statement last year, saying, "This was murder. It wasn't a lack of training." On Monday, Arredondo said it was unusual for police to take someone into custody where the alleged crime was as minor as in the case of Floyd, who was suspected of using a counterfeit $20 bill to buy cigarettes at the Cups Food grocery store, a non-violent misdemeanor. Chauvin also did not de-escalate the situation, even as Floyd fell unconscious, and he did not provide the mandated first aid to a dying Floyd, Arredondo said. New cases of COVID-19 in the United States rose 5% to more than 450,000 last week, the third week in a row that infections have increased. The average number of COVID-19 patients in hospitals rose 4% to more than 37,000 in the week ended April 4, breaking a streak of 11 weeks of falling admissions. Health officials have expressed concerns about the increase in travel around the Easter holiday and school spring breaks at a time when more infectious variants of the coronavirus are circulating. While flu viruses tend to be seasonal, with cases falling as the weather warms, health officials said they have not seen similar trends with the novel coronavirus, pointing to a surge in COVID-19 cases in some regions last summer. "I don't think we should even think about relying on the weather to bail us out of anything we're in right now," Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease expert, said at a news briefing yesterday. 27 out of 50 states reported increases in new cases last week compared with the previous 7 days. Deaths from COVID-19, which tend to lag infections by several weeks, fell 17% to about 5,800 last week, or about 834 per day. Health officials have said the country's vaccination effort could limit deaths even with rising cases. For a 6th week, vaccination set a record, with an average of 3.1 million shots given each day last week. As of Sunday, 32% of the US population has received at least 1 dose, and 19% was fully vaccinated, according to the CDC. During some summers, as the Caribbean water temperatures climb, the luminous coral colonies of gold, green, and blue that ring the island nation of Cuba give way to patches of skeletal white. The technicolor streaks of darting tropical fish flash less frequently. The rasping sounds of lobsters go quiet. While Cuba's marine life has suffered from overfishing and pollution, there is mounting evidence that the warming of waters due to climate change may be taking a large toll as well, both off the island's coast and globally. Research published on Monday finds the total number of open water species declined by about half in the 40 years up to 2010 in tropical marine zones worldwide. During that time, sea surface temperatures in the tropics rose nearly 0.2 degrees Celsius. While numerous factors like overfishing have impacted tropical species, the study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found a strong correlation between species decline and rising temperature. While past studies have shown that ocean warming is driving some species to migrate to cooler waters, the new study attempts to gauge that impact more broadly, analysing data on 48,661 marine species, including fish, mollusks, birds and corals, since 1955. The dataset is a representative sample of 20% of all named open water and seabed-dwelling marine species, like corals and sponges, researchers said. The number of species attached to the sea floor remained somewhat stable in the tropics between the 1970s and 2010, according to the study. Some were also found beyond the tropics, suggesting they had expanded their ranges. In other words, scientists say, species that can move are moving. You can subscribe to 5 Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5 Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5 Minute News is an Evergreen Podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.